This isn't space news, but... Okay. Okay. So... that guy failed at Squid Game by selling Squid Game. Gotcha. Cool. They probably said, it's a good idea. This is illegal, but this is a good idea. All right. Did you already cover the next New Shepard flight announcement? Did it yesterday. Why did you even show that? Because it's kind of funny. He lost the Squid Game. That sucks, man. You know, it's funny doing that in Hearts of Iron because it's a video game. And doing it in real life, it's kind of messed up. A little messed up. Oh man, I'm freaking tired. What do you guys want to play? KSP. All right, making it easy. What do you think? Anti-aircraft gun or mortar? AA gun. Ground station stuff. Oh, that's right. We do have work in KSP. We got work to do. That's a very good point. All right, let's go. Let me load up Kerbal. Chat-funded deep space network. Starting a chat-funded deep space network. This is mission mode 246. Mission mode part 246. All right. Yeah, we're gonna do a poll for mission mode. First one in a little while, I know. We're gonna do it for getting ground stations for our deep space network up and running. I don't want to do Scud. I don't want to do Scud launchers, guys. We have chess work to do. Maybe for after hours, Excessum. You gonna be here? Stupid question. How do satellites radiate the heat they produce? They can't use convection, so they use radiation. The heat radiation. So, JC, think liquid cooling instead of air cooling, like when it comes to a computer. That. Wait, isn't after hours MSC? I don't know. Is this the first poll since Route 154? Yep. And Jay, thermal control and HVAC systems on satellites are a super big deal. There's no place to dump the heat, so you have to really, really make your cooling system work correctly. If you don't, your satellite will just melt. It'll just melt in the sun. There's no convection. You can't use a heat sink. That doesn't work. No air cooling because there's no air. So it's crazy because stuff that's in the sun gets ridiculously hot and stuff that's in the cold literally freezes. Yeah. Literally, you're going from volcano to icebox to volcano to icebox. So, like, for instance, the ISS does that every 45 minutes. It goes from really freaking cold to really freaking hot to really freaking cold to really freaking hot to really freaking cold to really freaking hot. And it's been doing it for 20 years. Pretty nuts, huh? Episode 244, by the way. Oh. All right, fine. Be that way. All right, so, drummer, let's get these polls ready. So, guys, what we're going to do is I want to start doing interplanetary missions in mission mode. And that means probes and stuff to other planets. But in order to do that, I need a deep space tracking network. So we need a DSN. What's the DSN? DSN is NASA's Deep Space Network. So actually, that picture really gets the point across. The Deep Space Network is a bunch of very, very big parabolic antennas that are used to communicate with satellites that are in, well, deep space. Basically anything that's beyond NASA's tracking data and relay system. For instance, the Deep Space Network the Artemis missions will use the Deep Space Network when we go back to the moon because that's technically deep space. So, basically anything outside of this dotted line is deep space. Literally the convergence point for the Deep Space Network. Now, in Kerbal, you don't necessarily need to do a Deep Space Network, right? I could just put a big satellite network up in space and it would work just fine. Here's the thing about that. Now, the Deep Space Network, the reason why NASA doesn't do that in real life is because you need to launch that into space. I don't think anybody wants to launch that into space. I mean, I kind of do. That would be cool. Those aren't deep space trackers, Jen. Those are ground stations. Ground stations for close to orbit operations. Yeah, I mean, Fractal, let me rephrase that. I want to launch that into space. I don't think we have a rocket that can do that. So, NASA keeps the deep space tracking stations on Earth. And they're in 3 principal areas. They're in Goldstone, California, Madrid, Spain, and Canberra, Australia. There's 3 arrays. And basically what these do is these get signals coming back from deep space, and then they bounce them off of TDRS and they can bounce them back to NASA, right? They can relay the signal. Now, I want to do this in KSP. I want to make our deep space network. So, we have this tracking station, and this tracking station is good. We'd have to upgrade it to get it to its full potential, to get it to 250G, so it can really basically track anywhere in the solar system. But even if we do that, even if we do KSC, that's one third, right, of KSC. We would need 2 other tracking stations. We'd need one here and one over here somewhere to be able to do this. So, to be able to make it basically look exactly like this, I want to do this in Kerbin, in KSC, like on Kerbin. I want to do this. So we're going to need equipment that, well, can move a lot of antennas to different parts around Kerbin, and B, be able to get back. So what do you guys propose? What do you think we should do for that? Now keep in mind, I do the engineering around here. I do have planes that would be able to get this done, no problem. Here, let's get the satisfactory. Ow. Let's get the satisfactory soundtrack going. Sorry about that. Boats? Alright. Well, let's think about that. Build boats. Alright. Now we got to do our time warps for the day. 1, 2, 3. Can you use multiple geosynchronous relay satellites instead? Yeah, but I have the same problem, Mile. I don't have an antenna that's big enough to be able to hit 250. Please hold. I don't have an antenna that's able to get anywhere near 250G. It literally is easier to build an array on the ground. The satellites that I need to launch into space would need to have 3 or 4 of those dishes. True story. Build tracking ships like NASA did for Apollo.
Discovery, go and throttle up.
Tago, 24-month resub. I don't want to do a suborbital ICBM relay. That's what we did the first time. I don't want to do that. Well, hang on, drummer. What is the German plane that was the cargo plane that kind of flew like the Harrier? it's a Dornier. Can we build that plane? That plane really can't carry a lot of heavy cargo. Yeah, boat is going to be your best bet. It adds to your fleet capability for recovery operations. Well, we have the SSTOs. What exactly are we recovering? And once again, these dishes in real life are quite large. 70-meter antennas. See the people? They're big. Very big. Is the blended wing aircraft an option? It absolutely is, Daitor. Yeah. We could buy the K90, and that's why I kind of want to come up with a little bit of a plan here. I want to come up with a little bit of an idea what you guys, what kind of content we're gonna see, and that will basically, we'll be able to figure out missions and fund them correctly. Why not drive? Do you want to watch me drive around Kerbal in a truck for hours? Why do you want me to do that, Da Vinci? It would be so nice to see the K90 fulfill its original mission. What is the keep it simple solution? The simple and easiest solution is basically buying the plane and buying the deep space network stuff that I already engineered for the career mode save. I literally built something that's designed to do this already. Here, I'll show you, fellas. I built something that's designed to do this already. And we did it in career mode here. Let me find the right pictures. We built it for career mode, and it's a blended wing that can fly around Kerbin. And it's designed, it has a ramp on the back, and it's designed to basically fly anywhere. And it's a seaplane, too. The K90 is a gigantic blended wing. It's a seaplane, so you can do that. And it can land in water as well. There's pictures of it. And basically, it can carry the trailers for it in the back. What was the Soviet equivalent of the Deep Space Network? I don't know, Squishton. I'd have to go look. I don't know that off the top of my head. What's the load capacity and fuel rate? I honestly forget off the top of my head, not Nick. This thing can circumnavigate Kerbin, like literally take off from the runway, get up to altitude, and just keep flying straight and come right back to the runway. With 18 tons in the payload bay, 18 tons of fuel. So it's pretty good. We vote that we use the existing plane. I think that's the right idea as well. Might be good for recovery operations. Yeah, this is actually it can hydrofoil up and out of the water, guys. But if we... Here, let me pop over into the career mode save real quick. I'll show you guys this. It's going to cost some cash, dudes, to buy this thing. So you're going to have to fund buying the plane. And the other thing is we have to fund upgrading the runway to get this to work. Nemetko, how about Starship-like suborbital cargo rocket? Yeah, I don't really want to do that. I don't want to... NASA didn't use space to build those dang ground stations, Nemetko, and I want to use it. I want to build it this way so I can explain to people how it's actually made. It's not necessarily an infrastructure bill. We're roping infrastructure into this program. Here, I'll show you. We'll fly it around in career mode, in this career mode save. Actually, I don't... Yeah, see? K90B, there it is. So, double the thing and add 100,000 to it. So, it goes up to 666,520. Great. And then add 100K. Round up to the nearest 100K. So, this plane costs 700K. And honestly, I'm not sure I have all the parts for it unlocked. But... this plane does have a cargo bay, and the cargo bay does occlude. So whatever I put inside of the cargo bay, it will think it's inside of the fairing here. We have attachment points inside of here. and it's a gigantic blended wing body. And it also has the hydrofoil mechanism here to be able to basically have adjustable pitch and hydrofoil up and take off up out of the water. Oh, that's cool. That's one hell of a tracking array. Pluton. Neat. I'll have to read about that later, Question. Yeah, the other thing that this thing does is this. Here. Maybe it's on a Cal controller. So here, I'll show you. So the back actually opens up, and then the ramp comes down like that, and you can drive stuff in and out. And it's also amphibious. It lands in the water like a seaplane, and it lands in the water like a seaplane, and then it rolls up out of the water. It rolls up out of the water on its landing gear, and it can drop off stuff on the terrain. How big is the array? Do you have one built? Yeah, I should have the DSN trailers. I designed the DSN trailers to work. Here they are. I designed them to work with the K200. So basically, we have the command post right here. This is for power. So you have batteries and solar in here with small antennas, and then a Kerbal can command it if they need to. And then this has an attachment umbilical, right? And we can push this out and you basically attach the two trailers together. And then when you do, here's what happens. He who dies with the best toys wins. So what plane do you currently have that could transport these trailers?
Discovery, go and throttle up.
No. No. Hey, TNT, 45 months. Thanks, buddy. I don't have anything, Drummer. The only plane we have in the mission mode save is the A400. So save 700K? What? Wait, so what do you guys want? What do you mean save 700K? Can the helicopter carry one? 1,000, the helicopter could carry it, sure, but are we carrying with the helicopter 1,000 kilometers? Save 700K to buy the plane. How is that saving us? I love the K90, but I want a DSN that looks like the Russian one. How do you manage your interplanetary space travel? Do you always time warp to the perfect in-game time to leave Kerbin orbit? No, Toasty. There's no time warping unless there's no time warping in interplanetary space. It's one of my mission mode rules. But every time I load up Kerbal, you have to time warp 8 days into the future. That makes it so I have to time a mission, and if I miss a transfer window, guess what? You miss the transfer window. Too bad. So the trailers are 45, but I'm not sure I have all the right parts here. Wait, disk tracking. Oh, it unbound that cal controller. We're working on building out our DSN. So we have that. We have the DSN trailers. And then we have the K200, which we've already made. And then the K90. The K90 would be the plane to move these trailers around. K90's beast, man. It's a really crazy plane. What do you need to be able to use the K90 in mission mode? Well, Nifodium, my rule for mission mode is that I can buy craft files. I can license the craft files from other saves. Licensing is very straightforward. You take the price, times it by 2, and round up to the nearest 100,000. So this would be 700 grand to buy this and put it in mission mode. You guys would need to fund it. Quick stupid question. Think you can make the 747 carry the DSN? That's what I mean, 700K. All right. What do you mean by it? I'm confused. Like what? Yeah, it's 700K. It's expensive, but this plane can fly anywhere on Kerbin and back with payload. The license, Hokey. Earn 700K in mission mode and buy it. Be real. Do you really want to do that? Nobody wants to do that. Don't lie. How much for this and the trailers, though? The trailers are 45K, and we're going to need 2 sets of them for now to set up a good DSN. You basically need to make arrays. Like King of Beasts, it actually works like that antenna. The trailers are designed to link up to each other, so I can link a trailer with another trailer with another trailer, and we can create... You can stack the dishes on top of each other, but there's a diminishing return more dishes that you stack. Dude, it's 2 a.m. and I'm drunk, so the best ideas come now. Yeah. So you're at 800K, and I would need to... We would need to upgrade the SPH to be able to launch this thing from the runway, or else I would have to put it down next to the launch pad and then taxi it over. Yeah, the engines are also overclocked too. What's the upgrade cost? I think it's like 1.5 mil or something. It's 1.7. So 1.7 coupled with 800 is 2.5 mil. And that gives me one plane, 2 sets of trailers, an upgraded SPH, and yeah, basically that's enough cash to be able to, well, hope I don't crash it, you know? Deal, Da Vinci, deal. No, that doesn't give you one plane. That gives you the license for the plane. Oh, frick, you're right. Oh my goodness. So the plane is 300K, so we're looking at probably, just to be sure, 3 mil in case I... Oh... I have no liquidity here, not Nick. Unless we want to sell Freedom's pad. I mean, I can afford the plane. We can fund it out of pocket if we want to, guys, so... How do we, the viewers, fund this? I'll get to that, Maverick. All right, so let's fund it. So we got to fund it per the mission mode rules. You got to tell me how much funding I'm getting, and then we'll do deadlines after that. When do we want this DSN finished? So this will be kind of a separate thing from our lunar program, which will reactivate soon. So drummer. Let's run the poll. Let's run the new polling system. And, okay, so 2.5 million is the bare minimum. That pays for the license of the plane, right? The upgrading the SPH. Actually, we should do 3 funding points, okay? 3 funding points. And chat, do what you think. Don't, you know, I'd say three different scenarios is good. I want to fund this at 1 million, 2.5 million, and 3 million. Actually, 1.5 mil, 2.5 mil, and 3. Let's do that, drummer. Got it down in Discord. 3 options. 1.5 mil, 2.5 mil, and 3 mil. Actually, the first one should just be 1 million. 1 million. Actually, you know what? Just do 1 million, 2 million, and 3 million. Okay. So it's gonna be up to you guys how we play this, how this plays out here. So there's 3 funding options here. Okay. You guys are gonna fund. I'll use the debug menu to edit in funds, and you guys are gonna fund these missions. Okay. So you fund this. Not. I mean, you can fund it any way you want. You fund this depending on what type of content you want to see. Okay. That's what the funding is really all about. It kind of denotes what I'm going to do on the stream and what kind of stuff you want to see from KSP. It's a good way to keep Kerbal fresh. So, I mean, it also helps me because I don't need to come up with all the ideas, right? You guys literally tell me what you want. So, the first option, funding at 1 million. Okay? If you guys fund me at 1 million, that's enough to get the license for the K90 and then buy one and use most of my money, or not most of it, use some of the money here to license it and buy it. Right? And then I basically have to pay for the trailers out of pocket. This way, I have to put it out on the VAB pad, and then every time we want to, if we put it out, we have to taxi it over here, taxi it to the runway and fly it. Okay, so that takes time, but That takes time, but it's it's not the worst way to do it. Taxiing it might be a little bit of a problem. But, we can always roll it down the hill and then roll it up the hill over here if we need to. All right. That's the first way. That's the... Screw you, EJ. Do it this way. Now, keep in mind, 1 million is the cheapest, but it's going to take some time. All this, taxiing the plane back and forth, loading the trailers, and then getting it ready to go is time. So that way might end up taking a little bit more time than normal, okay? So be cognizant when you think about that for the deadline. Now, there's option 2, which is 2 million. Option 2, 2 million... Actually, option 2 needs to be 2.5 million, drummer. It needs to be 2.5. 2.5 million upgrades the space plane hangar and gives me the license for the K90. What it doesn't do is have me pay for the plane. I have to pay for the plane and the trailers out of pocket. Okay? So that means we can put the plane out right here and I can do loading operations faster with the plane, right? Get it out, get it doing missions quicker. But I have to pay for the trailers out of pocket. That's the stipulation there. So it's kind of, we get a good upgrade out of this, right? I get the big SPH, so we could do stuff faster, but it's not the hardest way to do things. Now there's option 3. Option 3 is 3 million. 3 million is enough to fund the SPH, the K90 license, buying the K90, and the trailers. It's basically all total cost involved. That's the entire project. If you put it in at 3 million, I can get it done the fastest.
Go at throttle up.
Now keep in mind, why don't we just do 3 million? Well, that depends, because the next poll that you guys are going to vote in, the next one, is for how long you expect me to get this done. How long? How long is it going to take? Will it take me a week to do this? Will it take me 2? Will I get it done by the end of the year? With 3 million, you're probably looking at the shortest timeline. 2 million, is adequate funding, but I will struggle just a little bit. It's going to eat into running freedom missions, right? 1 million is going to be the hardest, and that's going to take the longest. So, once again, these missions are really dependent on what kind of content you guys want to see. Do you want to see what happens when you shoestring a program? Do you want to see me have to try and balance freedom profitability with operating the SSTO? Or do you just, shut up, EJ, let's get it done right now. Let's go and do it so we can go further into space. So how you choose here with the funding and the deadline poll right after that is going to denote what type of content you're going to see from me, just like the SSTO program did. I'm looking at the poll options for drummer. Add total cost involved to option 3, drummer, and we're good to go. What does this plane and radars allow? Good question, Hat. I'm using the plane and the radars to build a deep space network on Kerbin. The deep space network are huge tracking arrays that NASA has on the ground, triangulated with international partners around the Earth to be able, they're big, by the way, to be able to communicate with deep space spacecraft. The reason why they do this is because, well, honestly, launching this into space could be exceedingly difficult. Hey, Jalal, what's up, dude? Thanks, man. Thanks for the 5 subs. I appreciate it. Merry Thanksgiving. Thank you. And a 23-month resub from yourself. Thank you very much. What percentage goes into the pocket of the bureaucrats? Well, you tell me. With 3 million, I'll have a little bit left over. We'll make a little bit of profit. So, Hat, I'm trying to build a deep space network. Now, in Kerbal, we could just put these satellites here. I could launch them up into space and just work from there. I could build a DSN, the relay system that works up in space, but we're still going to need ground stations eventually. Well, I like the way that NASA has this set up. Believe it or not, the ground stations communicate with spacecraft that are basically beyond geosynchronous orbit. So if there's a spacecraft on the moon, the Deep Space Network will be communicating with it. And what they do is they get those signals back from whatever, you know, they're triangulated around Earth, right? We're looking at the North Pole right here. They're triangulated, and they get that signal back, and then they relay that signal. They bounce it off the tracking data and relay system, a local tracking system, and that can get it back to KSC. I want to do that so I can show people this working, and I want to show people how we communicate with spacecraft in deep space. I think it would be good. So I really wanted to do this way. Do you have proposed missions in deep space? The proposed missions in deep space are a hybrid of stuff, obviously sending people back to the moon. That's a big one. That's a big thing to do here in my save, because we did get to the moon, but then we had some trouble with the architecture, but that's another story. I also have the Sentinel mission here. That's a pretty good incentive to build a deep space network, and this will help offset the cost eventually. Launching the Sentinel satellite for asteroid tracking. And then in the contracts menu, we're starting to get missions that are for commercial contracts that are going to further planets. Also, keep in mind, you guys, if you see fit, you can fund science programs and probes or landers to other planets if people want to. Right now, how I have this set up, is that we have a science mission program where we're sending unmanned probes, and then we have the crew program. The crew program is the current objective is set to the moon. The science program really has no goal right now. It was set to Minmus once upon a time. But this deep space network is basically going to be the science mission goal right now. If we get that done, we can launch probes to all the planets in the solar system eventually. Now, the human program is focused on lunar exploration right now, but it is on hold because I've been retooling for my launch vehicles, which is not really a good idea in hindsight, but that's okay. We have Freedom back up and running, so it's okay. So the vehicles will communicate with your DSN, which will go back into space in your short-range system and back to KSC. That's how it works in real life, Hypersonic. Yep. Dare I ask what the mission of this new DSN would be? Gotta have a plan for what this will be used for, or else, well, Constellation. For launching science probes to other planets, Hokey. That's what you guys want to see. Thanks for explaining. Had it warranted explanation right now. I feel like there should be a chat decision on whether you're allowed to buy the K90 or not. The DSN trailer's not so much. But that makes things too complicated. I've always had control over the engineering decisions. That's what I'm proposing to you. It will work in KSP, Mile, correct. See last, please. How many different sites and how many dishes do you plan on deploying so we can have a better idea of what is on the books for the deadline and budget? 2 other sites. KSC is already one. We already have one. 2 other sites, 120 degrees around Kerbin, preferably on the equator. And we need a command trailer, and then we need the 2-dish array. Hell Hydra, these deep space tracking stations that I'm making are actually scalable, so I can add more. We could just keep coupling them together, and you can make the array more powerful and go further into space. But if down the road we want to expand it, we want to send more trailers out, that's no problem, because we already have the capability. We'll have the K90. Are we able to perform a systems test and test flight to ensure our potential investment still works? Yes, Av, if we want to. Would you use the Freedom rocket to launch crew back to the station in the moon? No, the small SSTO is crew rated already. It's a dumb idea to get rid of a launch vehicle that works. It's a really dumb idea to get rid of a launch vehicle that works that moves people into space. Out of curiosity, have you ever heard of the class of compounds called MX Inez? Negative, Jalal. Not off the top of my head. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Total cost involved, drummer, for 3. Yeah. But yeah, Buck, I don't want, like... I mean, what other way do you guys want me to do? Do you guys want to build a dock? Like, do you want me to build ships and then sail those ships around Kerbin? That literally would be hours of streaming just sailing the ship around, as opposed to maybe 15 minutes of fizz warp with the airplane. I mean, the plane can travel at like 30,000 feet going like 150, 160 meters, or like 200 meters a second or something. The boats travel at what, 30 knots? And yeah, they're way more efficient, I guess, than the plane, right? But do we really want to get back into boat design? Is that what we're getting at here? The sat dish thing sounded cool. Yeah, I know. I wasn't suggesting you use a boat. Okay. Can you see these DSN radars being made redundant by anything? I mean, unless we somehow get the capability to be able to launch this sucker into space, no, not really. In game, no. I mean, in game I have the same problem. You need to start coupling the dang satellites together, right? You got to start coupling everything together. It's not... No, I was just thinking about Tessa talking about engineering a different, cheaper cargo plane instead of just outright buying the K-90. I mean... Buck, I could do it. Frankly, I'll be honest with you. The K-90 is good. It's good and it works. I can make a better plane. Oh yeah, I could make a better plane that's probably a little less expensive. There are some things with the K-90 that I didn't get right from the start that could make it probably, I don't know. I don't know if it would be less expensive. I really don't have the answer to that question. But, couldn't you just launch the DSN lawn dart style on a rocket? I could, Shadow Man, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I want to have ground transportation. I want to have in-atmosphere transport capability too. This for other things. Seeing you make a better plane would be fun. We haven't done a Wings Wednesday in a while. Do you guys want to do that? So, let me be real. If we'd started developing a plane, there would be days where we work on the plane, and then there would be days where we fly up into space. I would balance the content. It wouldn't be just planes for the next month. But it would take about a month to get that type of to get a plane like that working correctly. What benefit could you see from designing a new one? Cost? Watching new plane development would be great. Okay. Yeah, Buck, I hear you. No, I got you. Thank you for bringing it up. So, okay. I mean, we could do that, dudes. So... Alright. Drummer, add a fourth option to the poll. The fourth option to the poll will be 3 million... Same as the highest price that we have already. But it'll be 3 million and instead engineer a new plane. Do you think that's flexible enough? Design a plane for Eve. Man, you really hate me, don't you, Toasty? Design a plane for Eve. What did I do to you, man? What did I do to you? The 3 million, the second 3 million option would be... The second 3 million option, Drummer, would be to build a new plane. Same trailers, though. The trailers don't need to be reinvented. The trailers work fine. They actually work great. You definitely need the extra money to include a development program. Okay. Sure, Flykin, go ahead. Even after the SSTO disaster, an Eve plane would be feasible. You have been demoted from moderator of our Moscow. How dare you? How dare you? Comrade, allow me to show you the error of your ways. Yeah, Rocket Guy, where are you on this? I think 3 million, but build your own plane is fair. I don't need an extra million to develop an airplane. I really don't think we need to do that. So, see last. What's up, McMuffin? Does the 3 million in designing a new plane cover the cost of upgrading the SPH? Yes, correct. Meaning the development budget is around 1.2 mil. I can do that. That's no problem. I can develop a plane for that much. Planes aren't expensive as developing SSDOs. Can we even design a better all-purpose plane than the K90? I can make a better plane to make. Yeah, of course. I don't understand the need of designing a new plane for it when you have one. Once again, this funding shows me the kind of content that you guys want to do. You want to see EJ build a new plane? You got to understand that that's development. So those are a lot of boring streams. I'm not going to lie to you. But we get a really cool plane, and flying that cool plane around can be fun. Okay? Using an off-the-shelf component gives you less development, more missions. Okay? It really comes down to the type of content you guys want to see. Now, once again, if we choose to develop a new plane, dudes, we're not just going to be working on that plane all the time. I'm developmented out from doing so much work on the SSTO. I'm going to find a balance between doing missions to space and development. The new plane option should be 2.3 million, in your opinion. Rocket, I want to see, did you say something before that? Yeah, Rocket Guy, that makes sense. That makes sense, because if we're gonna say we could do the plane for cheaper, the option for building a new plane should be less money because it's supposed to be less expensive. You're right. That makes perfect sense. The poll is coming, guys. Give it a second. We have to fill it out. We have to make sure that we have this all well thought out. Trust me on this one. That extra 300K is also based on the K90 baseline price. I think that's a good idea. Drummer, make the building a new plane option 2.3 million. Rocket Guy is correct. The trailers are 45K, dude. They're nothing. This is plane development. What do you think of a K90 V2? The K90 is about as good as you can make it, username. I spent 2 months engineering that plane. Trust me, that thing is real good at what it does. I could make it cheaper, though. We could make it cheaper because I learned a lot of things about what you should and shouldn't do when you're making a flying boat. All right, Drummer, let me take a look. Okay, so we have option 1, 1 million, K90, bare minimum, license the K90, buy the plane, pay for the trailers out of pocket. Okay. Option 2, upgrade the spaceplane hangar, license the K90, pay for the plane and trailers out of pocket for the $2.5 million option. Option 3, upgrade runway, K90 license, buy the plane and 1 set of trailers. Option 3 would be our total cost involved. And then option 4 is engineer a new plane. Worth 2.3 million, that would be less expensive than the K90. That would include the runway upgrade, and we already get the trailers in that design. So we'd have to buy the trailer design in this with some of the funding. 1.7 for the spaceplane hangar, 100K for the trailer design, and then the leftover would go towards a plane that would cost less than the license for the K90. Hey, Mock, what's going on? Hellfish, honestly, I'll check that out some other time. This is important to get right. The fourth option doesn't make sense to you. Drummer, it might be better to just... I don't really... What? Yeah, Hellfish, that's what I'm thinking. Drummer, I'll tell you what. Because in lieu of these two options being here, get rid of these because we'll split the K90 vote here. Get rid of these options for now. I'm serious. Option 1 and 2, dump them. Let's just do total cost involved on the K90 or almost total cost involved but engineer a plane for less cash. That's probably the right way to do this. Yeah, exactly. Well, Drummer... No, you gotta include funding because... Well... Yeah. We gotta vote off the shelf versus engineering a new plane. We gotta do that. I mean, that's an engineering decision. I'd prefer to just vote on funding and then figure out what to do from there. That's what I've been doing. I don't like leaving engineering decisions to chat because nobody can come up with something good to do because everybody wants to do something different. I like leaving the engineering decisions to myself. So, I think we can have the poll last 10 minutes and then we can at least validate how the poll works. I think we should just fund price points, to be honest with you. 1 million, 2.5 million, 3 million. And just go from there. And I'll figure out the engineering decisions from there. I think that's the right move. I don't think it should be about engineering a new plane or not engineering a new plane because that's what... Okay, look, that's basically what... That's an engineering decision. I'll choose whether I want to make a better plane or not. So, get rid of this option. Literally take option 4 and make it option 2. So, if you're going to shortchange... Like, okay, so like, for instance, chat, if you chose option 1 million, you're going to shortchange me? I pretty much have to engineer a different plane. I can't afford the K90. Option 2... would be to upgrade the spaceplane hangar and build a more cost-effective solution to the K90. Option 3 is the off-the-shelf thing. Buy the K90, upgrade the spaceplane hangar, and get it to work. That's the right move. Yeah, that's the one that makes the most sense. Where there'll be timescale decisions as well. You vote for funding after this, Mapoko. After this, we vote on funding. So this poll is going to take a... This poll will take... We'll do this poll now, and then we'll vote on the deadline. Yeah, we'll vote on the... Wait a minute. Guys, the last time we made a big decision... Well, no, that's a direction of the program. That's direction of the program. Yeah. We want to do a DSN project. Everybody can agree on that. Just, Drummer, let's... Should we make the poll last a day for the viewers that aren't here? What purpose is the plane needed? To move the equipment to build the DSN at their different locations, Nulty. Fund it at 24 hours, drummer. Do it. Option 1, option 2, option 3. You guys give me a funding. You'll have 24 hours to vote. And then tomorrow, or actually over Thanksgiving, the poll will... Actually, drummer, make the poll end on Friday. Because tomorrow I'm not streaming tomorrow because it's Thanksgiving. Yeah, I agree, Hell Hydra. Yeah. Let it fund. Let it go until Friday. And then we'll pick the deadline. We'll pick a deadline for it on Friday. And then we'll go from there. Do I still use a joystick? Absolutely. So, drummer, get rid of option 4 and make option 2 option 4. So, switch this one to 2.3 million, engineer a new plane. So, you have, basically, this one's build a, be creative, do less with more, or do more with less. This one is fund a more cost-effective solution in the long run, and this one's just buy it and get the missions done. Don't need option 4. Option 3 would probably end up being the K90. Option 1 will be something more cost-effective, like maybe we'll look into a helicopter moving the trailers around or something. This is do more with less. This one is engineer a more cost-effective solution than the K90. This is the one that's off the shelf. We pay the most amount of money for it, but the missions will get done quicker. That's it. You don't need option 4. How much debt do you have to chat? Nothing, Jack. I don't take loans from chat. You guys fund the kind of content you want to see. That's my return. So you guys fund my space program, and I'll pick the solution, and the solution is based off of your funding. So that's how far your money goes in terms of voting in these polls. If you participate in the poll, you will directly influence the kind of content that you want to see on this stream. The trailers don't need to be designed, Big Papa Bear. I already designed them. Yeah, I already have those figured out. Yeah, I did that in the career mode save. I'm just going to use those. Yeah, they're really nice, actually. They look like ground tracking stations, and they hook up to the K200. Alright, let's see this upgraded poll. There's no real downside to us funding more, though, is there? That depends on when you set the deadline, Floating Disc. Like, for instance, if you fund option 3 and then fund like a month deadline, I'll have that done in a week, so what's my motivation for getting it done? We'll work on other things in the meantime. See what I'm talking about? The funding is just half of it, dude. The deadline the deadline one really makes a lot more sense. Like, if you give me 100, if you do option 1, 100, or 1 million, right? And then you put the deadline at a week, well, you're basically dooming me to failure. I mean, that's a pretty good vocal shout to me that you guys either A, want to screw my space program up, or B, you want to see more KSP plane building. You know what I mean? This is just one part of the component. You guys vote on the funding and then you vote on the deadline. All right? Like, once again, 3 million with a really laissez-faire deadline is going to get more space content, right? That's going to get, there's going to be no rush. I don't really need to go too crazy, right? Well, yeah, there's no downside. It's not like you're going to get a return on investment. The return on investment for voting here and participating is the type of content. That's your ROI. You know what I mean? Well, El Hook, that's another thing to take into account. The K90 is good at what it does, right? But it is an expensive plane. It's very complicated. It was designed for the career mode budget, which has a way bigger operating budget than the mission mode save does. But if I design a better plane, we can use that plane for other stuff. We could use it for recovery. We could use it to build Arctic bases for science research. You could do a bunch of things with it. It's good to have that capability. Just food for thought. Is the DSN just stations on Kerbin? That's what I want it to be, Barrelicious. Yep. You got it. Like maybe in the road we can make an Arctic research station. You know, like, or we can explore Kerbin and explore the different biomes. Or down the road I can use, so technically the island runway, the docks, the desert runway, they're all behind Fog of War. I don't know, I haven't discovered them. So in my mission mode save, you have to buy them. I have to use money to buy that property, right, to use it. So the desert doesn't exist in this save thus far. Having a plane like this, well, we could certainly get there. We could certainly figure it out. We could purchase it. So having a plane like this and funding a plane like this will have other uses. That's the reason why I want to pull the trigger on it, and that's the reason why I want to use a plane or a boat. A boat would be the same thing, but I don't think anybody wants to do that, to be able to explore around Kerbin. There are benefits there. Can the K-90 land on a runway, off the runway? It can land on water. It's a seaplane. Hydrofoil seaplane, dude. Yeah, of course it can. Alright, drummer, let's see. Just, you don't need K-70 funding. Just funding for Deep Space Network, transportation and building. Get creative, bare minimum, find another way, pay for the trailers out of pocket. New plane. Upgrade runway and engineer a new plane, pay for plane trailers out of pocket. 3 million, K-90 complete package, total cost involved. Upgrade the runway, K-90 license, buy plane, and sets of trailers. This is perfect, drummer. Perfect. Perfect, dude. Alright, chat. Get ready to vote. Alright, go ahead. You can vote right in chat, dudes, if you want. Anyone can vote. There's no obligation here. Once again, your incentive here for voting on this stuff is... The incentive here for voting on this stuff is the type of content that you want to see on the stream. That's all. Board of directors sort in. But yeah, we're a commercial company, but yeah. Yep, so that poll will go until Thanksgiving. Cool. Excellent. I'd like to put forward the idea of a transport submarine. Well, Bearlicious, nobody wanted to do a boat. The resounding response from chat was that nobody wanted to do it. If chat was more gung-ho on a boat, I would have... I mean, we have a cove. We can build a dock, remember? Like, there's a water spawn point. And building a dock and building cranes for said dock, etc., could lead to, like, launching from platforms out in the ocean and maybe landing on platforms out in the ocean. That's where that could lead. That's how I see that, you know. But that's another project for another time. No, I have not discovered the cove yet. Nope. Haven't done it. Anyway, is not upgrading the SPH a choice? Like, can you not upgrade it if you decide to go with building a better plane with fewer parts? Yeah, Rocket Guy, I'd have to do a study to see how big of a plane I can build, and if I can build a plane that's good enough to be able to fly around Kerbin with the current SPH that I have. The reason why I really included that and why it's kind of into the funding already is because I'm not sure if I can, dude. A plane that's going to need to be able to move around 18 tons circumnavigated. So the way I see it is if I can take 18 tons all the way around Kerbin, I have more than enough fuel to be able to fly a third of the way around the planet, land, taxi up onto land, land in the water, taxi up onto land, drop the trailer, taxi back into the water, take off again, and fly back. That was my benchmark, and that proved to be pretty right with the career mode save. Dumb question, but why does EJ need to upgrade the KSC runway? Well, if you guys fund the 1 million, Jim, that's probably how that's going to end up happening. Wait, tomorrow's Thanksgiving? Yeah. Generated as needed, Crafter. The standard missions. Guys, the K-90 is like a C-5. It's like a C-5 that can fly anywhere around the world and land in the water. A plane with that type of capability in real life would be insane. It would end up looking like Star Raker or something. And maybe the K-90's design could lead to a Star Raker down the road, if we wanted to fund that. It was pretty much already a Star Raker, dude. It's pretty much the same damn thing. A Spruce Goose? Actually, Barrelicious, if I designed a newer plane, it would probably end up looking like the Spruce Goose. The problem with the K-90 is that the tail is too big, if you really want to know. If we built a new plane, guys, if you went with the new plane option, actually, I'm not going to show you that. I was going to say what it would probably end up looking like, because I have some upgrades that I could make to the K-90 that would make it better. But I don't want to show you that just yet. Sorry, but what is the K-90? I'll show you. I will show. You guys aren't supposed to see that. The K-90 is a blended wing-body, long-range cargo hauling plane that's amphibious. I'm trying to find a picture of it. It's in here somewhere. There it is. What's the tech roadmap look like for your save from here forward? With the moon still as the focus, right? This is just an interim project to prepare for potential future missions outside of Kerbin's SOI. Ideally, Rocket Guy, you know, yeah, it's really where chat takes us, right? But this DSN would be so we can basically open up our science mission directorate for doing unmanned probes and landers on planets that are further away. So, like, we could start sending out the Sentinel satellite for asteroid redirect. Maybe we could do a DART mission. Maybe you guys fund a DART mission or something. Or we could do a Duna lander, or a Moho lander, or, you know, a rover somewhere, etc., etc. What is your plan for option 1? Don't know. Be creative. Figure something out. No projects have been canceled halfway, Obatine. I'm not sure what you're talking about. That's correct, Ismic. Poll is up right now. Go to the EJSA.space, guys, if you want to check it out. Missions like this would be very useful with the SSTO. Make a lot of money doing that. If I got control of the James Webb Telescope after it launches and is deployed, what is the very first thing you would look at? That's a good question, Papa Grandpa. Nice name. What would I look at with James Webb? I mean, I don't know. Do we try to look at a, you know, a planet in our own solar system and see if we get a really nice picture of it? Or do we look farthest we can into the universe? That might be what I would try to do. I would basically crank everything to 11, see how far you can look. That's probably what I'd do. It wouldn't be at anything in particular. I'd try to find the thing that's the furthest away that we know about and look at it. Yeah, exactly. A Hubble deep field. Exactly. That's probably what I'd end up doing. Yeah. Crank everything to 11, look at the furthest freaking thing that we know about in our universe. And Hubble deep field that. Yeah, that's a really good idea. That's probably what I'd do. Man, if only we had a way to get there, dude. It's all out there, and we know it's all out there. We just gotta freaking find a way to get there, man. Good luck on your mission. Thank you, sir. Yeah, Roblox, I'm with you. Just a note for Friday. The Pritchell docking is at 10:30 a.m. with the coverage starting an hour before. I'll be here. I'll be here for that. I would also be curious to see... I don't think because it's at a Lagrangian point, I don't think we'd be able to do this, but I'd also be curious to see if James Webb could take a picture of Earth. That would be pretty rad. Like, can it see somebody walking down the street from Lunar L2? I don't know, because, well, the moon is in the way. You know? The Hubble Deep Field was pointed at nothing. Yep. I don't think so, Jim. James Webb is an invisible light. Tell us so we can't take an infrared picture of Earth, mate? I mean, it's not like Earth becomes invisible if we try to image it in the non-visible spectrum. We already have those kinds of telescopes. Call it a shakedown. Heard the initial launch was delayed a day or two. They were just doing additional checkouts because something didn't go exactly right during integration, that's all. Actually, Hell Hydra linked this during Space News. Take a peek, dudes. Look. Engineering teams have determined NASA Webb is safe and ready for fueling after having completed a series of safety checks and tests. Preparations continue towards a target launch date of December 22nd. Yep. We're pretty dang sure that the integration mishap didn't do anything. They were pretty dang sure it didn't do anything. They just wanted to be absolutely sure that it didn't do anything. Damn, look at that thing. She's a beast. That thing is insane. I mean, it's insane. It's an insane piece of equipment. We should have an array of them if you really want my honest opinion. There should be like one at every Earth-Moon Lagrangian point for the lulz. That is a big satellite. Holy balls, man. You know how fine those mirrors need to be? They literally need to be perfect. Yes, more of that, please. It all goes back to what I was saying, weather guy, you know. You remember that idea that I proposed? You guys, I mean, you know, we want to improve climate monitoring, right? A modular satellite network for constant monitoring of Earth's climate that's serviced by something like Starship or Dream Chaser to be able to add and subtract components with a modular satellite would be a really, really nice idea. That way you kill two birds with one stone. You know, you keep human low Earth orbit operations and you give them sustainable business other than the ISS for climate satellite servicing missions, and also the Science Mission Directorate in the Earth Science Division gets a really, really, really nice satellite array. Yeah. This is the only plane that we've made in this save thus far. Yeah, the X-59 Storm. You know that's in one piece, right? Check this out. I forgot to tell you guys this. The only pictures we've had of it thus far are pictures of it being put together. The airframe's in one piece. Oh. Yowza. That is freaking cool, man. Damn. Winglets, not canards. Nice, Storm. This thing is freaking cool, man. That's a really cool plane. That's cool, man. This thing is really neat. What's the difference between winglets and canards? Canards do this. Winglets don't do that. Skip Wynn is the name of the test pilot, Smirks. It was his name. In the meantime, guys, what I'm gonna do here is upgrade the modules for the station expansion missions that we're gonna be working on. That's what we're gonna do here. So this is the Constitution 2 module. This is one of the modules that we need to send up to the station here. That we're gonna need to send out to the lunar station. The game wants me to expand my lunar station that we put out there at the end of right before Dart got canceled. So this needs to be separated, and it wants an ISRU in here, if I'm remembering right. For the contract parameter. Parametry construct rocket nositel normal. 30 sekund. Pilot normalna. Okay, panic. Pushing out a new Krakenbot build. There was a bug where new voters wouldn't have votes counted. Drummer! That's okay, we needed to test it anyway. This is why we test. That's right. Yeah, that's not going to work. Unlock the big boy for this amount here. And here's what we'll do. So one of the parameters that I need for a station contract, the game, we got a really nice contract to expand the station, to expand my lunar space station. I did end up moving the lunar station out there for a contract, and the game wants me to, once again, upgrade it. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to upgrade it, and because the mission pays out very, very nicely. So I'm upgrading the modules to be able to basically fit in the contract, to fit with the contract. Contract is 2 birds with 1 stone, dudes. And once again, the poll stuff's over. I'm getting these payloads prepared. So since the X-59 deflects the shockwave up, if it passes the sound barrier upside down, will the shockwave be louder on the ground than a normal shockwave? I would assume so, Cyborg, but it's not just deflecting the shockwave up. That's something that I've learned since the last time we actually talked about the X-59. It doesn't just deflect the shockwave up, but the aerodynamic surfaces are made in such a way to basically dampen out the supersonic boundaries, the supersonic boundary layer, but basically the thing that makes a sonic boom. But anyway, let's expand Liberty 5 station. So we need a facility supporting 21 Kerbals. We need a science module, and we need an ISR. We need ISRU. This one has a little bit of crew, and then it has the ISRU on it anyway, which is good. So this is what the thing will look like when it's expanded, which is nice. It's a good module. Cool. And we have radiators for the ISRU if we want to get that going. So the Constitution 2 module is, I mean, that thing is pretty much good to go. Didn't need much. I also upgraded the solar panels for ISRU stuff as well. It has the circular boy solar panels now, which is neat. Okay. The science module doesn't need any modification. We could put another science module up there. Looks fine to me, Element, but I'm not sure. So these, we'll end up launching these modules over the weekend here. So that's one. Science module. So the science module can hold 2 in the lab, 2 in the air, 1 in the airlock, and 2 in the crew space. So the science module holds 5. This holds 4. That leaves us at 9. So it needs 21. So that means we need a facility that holds, we need a module that holds 11 Kerbals. So 8, 9, 10, 11. So I'm going to make a science prototype module that instead of the science lab here has 2 crew tanks. Like that. And we'll launch all of these on Freedom rockets. So science module is 1, just like that. Then the HAB module, like this. And then the Constitution module. That should be right. Bunch of games did get picture updates today. Oh, nice. On the dashboard, it still looks the same for me, Element. But cool. All right. Well, that gives us that payload. That's pretty much good to go there. Excellent. Cool. All right, we got everything. What's I doing here? Just out of curiosity. Oh, geez. Yep, that's what I was making. That's what I thought that was. Actually doesn't look too bad. All right, not Nick. Hey, thanks for the subs today, man. I do appreciate it. Appreciate you, man. Thank you very much. Here's the recovery pallet. So, fellas,
Discovery, go at throttle up.
damn, dude, that's 5 more subs. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Guys, I think I actually got everything done in Kerbal that I wanted to do today. I have the modules prepared for the station relocation missions. And we got the polling stuff for the DSN figured out, dude. That's everything. Yeah, we got everything that I wanted to get done in Kerbal today done. I didn't want to go too crazy because this is, you know, stream before Thanksgiving. I didn't want to get too involved. Hey, Orison. What's up, man? Long time no see. From what I understand about how they're trying to dampen the sonic boom, they are partially using sound waves to dampen itself. Conceptually, think of a fish tank with waves made in the center that travel outward and then back in and neutralize each other, except for sound. That sounds about right, dude. It seems like basically Bose noise-canceling headphones, but with airplane. It's not in airplane, actual airplane. Right? I actually think, yeah, we got everything done in Kerbal. I think it might be time for a summer car. That's what everybody wants to see, right?